If you've ever woken up after a midweek holiday and forgot what day it is entirely, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Folks, welcome back to another episode of live trading. See, I can't even get the name of the show right. It is Thursday. We're back. A lot of stuff to cover. Let's get it.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, folks. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Live Trading. Happy Thursday. I hope you all had a wonderful Juneteenth holiday. I know I was out on the tee box early here before it really got hot. It was, who am I kidding? It was still hot. It was like 80 plus and humid. Everyone was dripping. It's crazy. The good news here in Chicago, I think we're coming in on the last week of the cicada invasion. So hopefully the summertime will become more enjoyable. Let me go ahead and bring on my main man, 13. 13, how was your day off and how are you doing today?
It was a quiet day for me. Had a lot of rain actually, so we didn't do a whole lot outside. Just hung out mostly. I'm doing all right though. Just a little sleepy because I was up late because it was a holiday and I was having fun.
Okay, well, I got bad news for you. Today is, in fact, the summer solstice, and it is the longest day of the year. So I'm sorry that you're tired, but strap in, baby, because it is the longest day of the year, and we are going to start with the market here today. All right, also going to bring on news by Nick. Nick, how are you doing? How was your day off, my man?
Good morning. It was really good. So hot here in Pennsylvania. We are actually under a heat warning. An air quality alert all through Saturday as heat indexes are up to triple digits.
Okay, yeah, it was, I think it was like 90 something here yesterday. It's a little bit cooler here today, but it's going to be 98 on Saturday. So we'll see. Heat wave definitely here. All right, let's go ahead and dive right into the market. Robert here. Good morning. I got toasted on the beach yesterday. Today I'm burning. Robert, I sure hope you use sunscreen, but I suspect if you're burning, maybe you didn't apply enough.
I think that's the only red you see today.
Oh, that's the only red. Well done, 13. Well done. Let's go ahead and actually bring up the chart of the SPY here. We are going to start with SPY. No surprise to anyone here. We are trading up. NVIDIA is up. The market is up. It is green here on this Thursday post Juneteenth. So let's see where we're going here. Remember when I had drawn the Fibonacci extension, I've cleared that drawing away now. But when we were trying to figure out, hey, what might this next move be? I basically drew a Fibonacci extension from the COVID low to the rebound high to that low. And the next target I got was between 555 and 556. So here we are at 549.50. We're only about 5 or 6 points away from that extension target that we got using a Fibonacci extension. 13, you got any thoughts here on where we're at with the SPY, the formation, any key levels that you think the group should know about here today?
Well, just keep an eye on the all-time high that we saw last week. I think that's going to end up being support this morning because we're still trading above it right now. And if the market opens, we're still above that. I'd expect it to behave as support. Okay. So that's what I'm going to be looking at is, and that level I have is 548.62. So see, watch for support in that area if the market falls down.
Okay. Good deal there. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the movers here. There's not much, but there's some on there that we should prepare for. And then, Nick, we'll turn it over to you for any news that we have here this morning. And then we'll go ahead and take tickers from the chat. We'll do ticker time with you folks and get prepared for the market here. So let's move on over to the stocks that are trading up here today and are likely going to be at our gappers. And the first one here is going to be MGOL. Some of the traders that I've been following for a long time have already been knocking this dead here in the pre-market. You can see we're on our third leg up here on the MGOL. Massive volume. This was a penny stock yesterday. We are now pushing $1.40 on this recent impulse move here on MGOL. Volume looking really, really good. Now, what's going on here? Well, first of all, 13 and I were just talking here in the pre-show fist fight. This is the stock that is tied to Messi. And the Copa America tournament starts this evening with Argentina playing their first game at 8 o'clock Eastern. So we thought at first, hey, maybe this is just up on that, but it turns out there's a PR here. Heidmar, hope I'm pronouncing that right, a global leader in crude oil and refined petroleum marine transportation services, agrees to business combination with NASDAQ-listed MGO Global Incorporated. Now, I know I was off yesterday, so perhaps I'm a bit slow, but do you know what the connection to Lionel Messi is with this PR here, 13? I can't quite figure it out.
I don't think there's anything necessarily connected with the PR. It's just that the company has reportable segments, which are the Messi store, which sells a range of products under the Messi brand, Stand flagpoles, which sells residential flagpoles and related products, direct to consumers, and then corporate, which generates no revenue but reflects corporate expenses related primarily to being a public company. So that's where it's tied in with Lionel Messi. And I thought the whole idea was, well, he's playing today, and it started to move as we were talking about it. So we're like, putting the two together. But we also got the PR, so we know it's not because of him, but it also sort of is because of him.
Okay, I hope you followed that one. It's not, but it is sort of. So that's there you go on MGOL. One thing to keep in mind here: stock's up 205%. It's possible that this is one of those that has its biggest move or its most tradable move here in the pre-market. Let's see how this behaves when it opens. You look here, we're 30 some cents above the VWAP. So just on intraday trading action alone, it seems to me that we're due for a bit of a pullback here. Maybe one of those knives. If that takes us down to a tradable level, giddy up, that would be great. So we'll see here on MGOL. That's the first one on the list. Yeah.
8.7 million shares in the float. So it is one of those that can move around pretty easily.
Yeah, indeed.
Hopefully we get enough volume in the market.
Yeah, well, I mean, the volume so far in the pre-market is encouraging, but you're right. Let's see what happens when the market actually opens. That's a good call. Okay, next here on the list is going to be ticker GRDI. This is going to be Golf Romeo Delta India as the ticker. This is Grid Infrastructure. This also very similar to MGOL in terms of its structure. Here's about a 60-cent stock yesterday. We rocketed up to 140. We pulled back. We're actually beneath the VWAP here, but we are holding that $1 level. So let's see if we can curl and reclaim that VWAP. You got anything here on Grid?
Yeah, this is not going on news that I could see. It is a Bitcoin stock, and Bitcoin is up today. But it has a 371,000 share float. So this one, a little bit more risky to trade, but also much easier to move given the low float. Just be careful on this one. If it looks like it's time to take profit, that instinct of yours probably is you should listen to. Right now, we are flagging a bit on the lower time frame, so this may just be getting going. For me, I think I'd want to wait until this the market opens to see what this does. But if you're a pre-market trader and you think you can capture some gains here in this pre-market action, go for it. I don't know where this one's headed. I don't have levels for this one, but it should be one of the more volatile ones this morning.
Okay, there you go. Float. There you go. GRDI, that is also going to be on our list. Next one here on the list is going to be Zap, and this is one that we've seen move recently. I believe we actually traded this as a group recently. Zap EV shares trading higher after the company said it expects first customer deliveries of the i300 in Q4 and anticipates selling over 5,000 units in the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025. That's got Zap popping here, high of 220. Actually, looks like we went a little bit above that, 224. Back in here, consolidating around the VWAP. We're going above and beneath it, so we'll see if we get any type of hold here. One of the things that we're seeing in the pre-market here on Zap, which we were not seeing on MGOL, is some declining volume. So we really want to see what that volume looks like when the market opens here. Does it give us a trade? Does the volume increase or decrease around key levels? All of that will factor into how we're actually going to end up trading this here today. So what do you have here on Zap, 13?
Yeah, they had that earnings report. And you pointed out the news that it's moving off of. It has a 769,000 share float. They did do a 1-for-20 reverse split back in April on the 23rd. So checking that box, of course. But I was trying to see if I could get any financial data on this. I didn't see any through Benzinga, so I'm a little bit concerned for this company being in the electric vehicle market, having no financial data to go on. So this is just going to strictly be a day trade if I just do decide to trade this at all. We've seen this one before. It's an old girlfriend. Just be careful with this one. I'm not sure about this one, to be honest, because I don't think EVs are in favor yet. I think it might be a while before we start to see anything meaningful in the EV space again. So this might have a one and done kind of day. We'll see.
Okay. Good stuff there on Zap. Next here on the list is going to be NXL, Nexalin Technologies. You can see this actually popped in the after hours. This stock was about 75 cents yesterday, popped as high as 180 here today. We've muted some of those gains, but it's done a decent job holding above $1 here. And presently, we're actually straddling the VWAP here at 130, actually slightly above here. Nexalin Technology shares are trading higher after being awarded a patent by the USPTO related to its deep intracranial frequency stimulation device for the treatment of Alzheimer's and dementia. So one of the first things that pops out there, Alzheimer's and dementia treatments and all of that generally do move stocks. This makes complete sense to me. You got anything more here on NXL 13?
Just I can tell you the float is 5.9 million shares. So checking the box is not too difficult to move around. That patent news, that's the big driver here, especially when you start talking about Alzheimer's and dementia, two things that we have not been able to treat very well yet, but are making progress on. So I think I really couldn't tell you where this is going. I don't have levels for this. I don't think that we've ever traded this one either, if as my memory recalls me. But just be careful with this one. We've seen how some of these patents, they get approved, stock runs for a little bit, comes right back in, doesn't do anything the rest of the day. So
yeah, good call. And 13, you're correct. To my memory, I can't remember it either. Maybe we have. It just wasn't necessarily a memorable trade. We do seem to have quite a few of those. First spot this would really need to get over here is 140 and then maybe 144. That, generally speaking, hopefully that would pop us up to that previous consolidation area from yesterday's after-hour session. We shall see. Next here is going to be CMND. This is Clear Mind Medicine. This is no stranger to our show. We've traded this one a bunch in the past. Clear Mind Medicine shares are trading higher after the company signed an exclusive patent licensing agreement with the Yism Research Development Company of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. You can see this actually popped as high as 235. It's come back in. We're beneath the VWAP. So far, we're holding 150. We'll see if that ends up holding up here. Volume was elevated on the initial move up here and has really kind of come down. We've seen that from CMND before. So we'll probably want to wait and see if this can bottom out intraday before flashing any type of buy signal here to the upside. Did you have anything on CMND?
Only that there's a 3.3 million share float. I wish that we had some numbers attached to what the licensing agreement entailed so that we could get an idea of just how much CMND is going to be raking in over time from this agreement, but didn't have time to get into that if it's even available. So I couldn't tell you. Just look to the left, try to identify some levels. If you think this is going to run a little bit, there's some upside targets for you, but I don't have a whole lot on this one other than the news headlines and just to tell you to look to the left for levels to identify.
Okay, there you go. Good stuff there. A couple more worth mentioning here. I don't necessarily know that we need to cover. These aren't the real huge gappers of the day, but these are moving up here. So before we turn it over to news by Nick, we'll mention Billy here. This actually looks like it's trying to break out and go higher. Obviously, the NVIDIA levered ETF that a lot of you have traded, that's up here with NVIDIA today. GovX, this popped on Tuesday and has so far held it. So we'll see if anything else gets rolling here on GovX. I didn't see anything fresh here today. Yeah, everything else was from the news there on Tuesday. So we'll see if GovX actually continues today on some of that momentum. Dell, this is a stock that we've been looking at quite a bit recently. Number of different things. We're still in that gap that we've talked about. That gap doesn't fill up to about 169, so still some more points here. Dell shares trading higher after Elon Musk said the company is assembling half of the racks that are going to be in the supercomputer that XAI is building. So you're getting a little bump there from the AI mentioned from Elon Musk. That's up.
Well, they're working
today
with NVIDIA, Ryan. That's also important to note.
Yep. No, you're right. You're right. Well, okay. Nick, that's a really good segue. Why don't we just flip it over to you? We can start with Dell here. What else do you have here on Dell?
I was just going to say, this company, and Michael Dell was actually on CNBC talking in a recent interview, and it was a wide-ranging interview talking about inflation, talking about the markets, and just talking about AI PCs that they think is eventually going to come to the markets. And so seeing this partnership with Elon Musk and NVIDIA kind of shows some support that Elon Musk may be backing Michael Dell, and maybe they may be doing other partnerships, but this news came yesterday, and we're seeing it reflected today. So it'll be interesting to see how Dell and NVIDIA, and even if NVIDIA even branches out and Dell branches out to other investors and to other companies to try and partner and trade with.
Okay. What else do you have news-wise, Nick?
I was going to say, let's hit the earnings this morning. Accenture, ticker ACN, they reported results, 313 adjusted EPS, just slightly below estimates of 315. Revenue 16.47 billion. Estimate was for 16.55 billion, so a miss there. Q3 new bookings of 21.1 billion, actually up 22%. Generative AI bookings of over 900 million for a total of 2 billion fiscal year to date. They do give some guidance. Expect Q4 revenue of 16.05 billion to 16.65 billion. Estimate was for 16.56 billion. And then they also see full year adjusted EPS of 11.85 to 12, moving slightly below previously of 11.97 to 12.20. Estimate is for 12.10. Results not really moving around too much, kind of flat here.
Okay, and one of the things about Accenture here, this is a chart that we've looked at quite a bit. We actually talked about this way back when it was trying to hold its 200-day, which it was unable to do. Good news here so far on this earnings pop. We're actually popped above the 500 and the 50-day moving average. I'd look to be using those as support if it's unable to hold these gains or if it's looking for any kind of back test activity here. I've got those levels down here, 302.61, so let's call that 302.5, and then 304.25 on the 500-day. So ACN, we saw a kind of a shift in sentiment after an earnings report on a stock like Chewy, which, by the way, just had an absolute monster day. This is the move that I was really waiting for back in here. Ended up stopping out on the last part of the position. Thankfully, I had sells for 100% and slightly under 100%. So I was able to make some money here. But gosh, Chewy really going here. And it was after this earnings pop that took us above a bunch of moving averages. Things clearly changed there the way the stock is trading. I guess we'll have to wait and see to see if we get that here on ACN. Worth noting that we did actually trade up. What happened there? Looks like we did trade up into a former resistance area on ACN right in here, our consolidation area. I beg your pardon. Nick, what else do you have?
Darden, they also reported this morning, ticker DRI. Adjusted EPS 265. Estimate was for 262. Revenue in line 2.957 billion. That's what estimate was looking for. They expect full year 25 total sales of 11.8 billion to 11.9 billion, slightly below estimates of 11.948 billion. They also see full year 25 EPS from continuing operations of 940 to 960. Estimate was for 960. And they also increased the dividend by 6.9% to 140 a share.
Okay, and by the way, this popped 154.10. That is right under the 200-day there at 155. So what we want to watch there in terms of a little bit of a longer-term trade, can we recapture that, maybe get several closes above that level? That might pave the way for some more upside here, ticker DRI. What else you got, Nick?
Kroger, ticker KR, they also reported earnings this morning. Adjusted EPS 143, estimate was for 134. Sales 45.27 billion, greater than expectations. They reaffirmed full year 24 guidance. They see full year adjusted EPS of 430 to 450, and they see identical sales without fuel 0.25 to 1.75%. So overall, better than expected report, beat on the top and bottom line. We're in this quiet period, so we don't have many earnings until JP Morgan actually kicks off July 12th. And that's when really we get into the heart of earnings season, when many companies will start to report. But other than that, we just have some laggards here. And it's kind of reaffirming the consumer spending on Darden restaurants, talking about the dining in, even though dining was a little bit light. The Olive Garden and the other parent companies were able to kind of hold up those sales, and even Kroger going out and shopping and buying products, still reaffirming that consumer spending. Other than that, we don't have too many earnings. Talk about Joby. Lynn actually pointed out in the chat, ticker JOBY. The FAA is actually giving them a nod for in-house software for air taxi operations. Joby said today that the U.S. aviation regulator has authorized the use of air taxi makers' in-house software to perform such tasks as managing pilot workload and matching passengers with aircraft, similar to the ride-hailing apps. The nod for the operating system known as Elevate OS comes as Joby gears up to launch its commercial air taxi operations as early as 2025. That's according to Reuters this morning, and basically just saying that Elevate OS was authorized for use by the US FAA as part of its 135 certification, which Joby got back in 22. Adding, the company has tested the system for ferrying employees between its sites. So again, this stock company, very good, seems like they're doing pretty well, and this just proves that they're on their way, and hopefully they get more better news and results when they report earnings, given that investors do tend to watch their earnings.
Yeah, and the other thing is ticker ACHR, kind of related to this. That's one that we talk about quite a bit here in live trading as well as the happy hour. Did you have anything that you wanted to add there, 13?
I do. Actually, we got some news, some local news out of from the Houston, because they were reporting they signed an MOU with Boeing's Whisk to start testing out their vertical airports, or vertical takeoff and landing areas for these types of vehicles. You can just Google Houston Airport and then WISK, and you'll see the headlines come up. This is just recent news that came out earlier this week. So this is actually happening. Like I've been saying with Archer Aviation, these companies are still spending money getting things off the ground and operations up and running, certifications taken care of. So next year is likely going to be the time when these start generating revenue. In terms of profitability, not exactly sure, but this is, they're starting to now turn the corner, and this is becoming a reality. So you will start seeing some of these air taxis in the skies in the not so distant future.
Okay. I can't tell yet if that's exciting or not, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. ACHR. Nick, that was it. That's all you had, right?
Well, I was just going to say we can fire through a few of them. Yesterday, while the market was closed, UK inflation back to 2%. Just wanted to talk about that they reached their goal. Bank of England today decided to hold rates steady. Goldman actually has a note out this morning thinking they may cut in August. So we'll see with UK. Other than that, we have Ferrari's first electric car to cost over $500,000. I know myself, I don't even have $100,000 in the bank, let alone $500,000. So I'm not able to buy that car. And EVs are quite something at this day and age. Regarding the EV fund, Canada can't make the goal of 100% EV sales by 2035. That's according to automakers. There was a report out this morning that European EV sales fell again. Tesla EV sales down 17%. EVs actually down 17% year over year. So it doesn't look like the EV trade is happening. And Kit Kat maker sees chocolate demand ebbing as cocoa costs creep in. That's according to a report yesterday in Bloomberg. So we'll see as the holiday comes how chocolate does. Other than that, that's all I got for you today.
Okay, that read there on the Ferrari EV car might have been my favorite of all time, FYI. Real quick, we are about to open here. The stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool, so if you need help getting above the 25K day trading threshold, there's your answer. If you need more dry powder, there's also an answer for that. Oh yeah, by the way, they give us plays occasionally. Also here, Danielle, you had asked earlier about HRO. That was actually one of the stocks to trade today here, courtesy of Benzinga Pro. Harrow shares trading higher after the company announced the manufacture of the first of the 3 commercial scale performance qualification batches of one of its drugs. That's what's going on here with HRO, low volume. All right, let's flip over to the scanner, and then let's also open up the Trade the Pool software here, and let's get to it. Boom. Here is MGOL. Let's see, 140 here. It's actually looking like it's trying to go higher on MGOL.
Zim had a nice pop. It's still popping. I think this might end up going back to 20s in here. It's a tick. CIM.
Okay. Take a look here at that.
And there it is. This thing is rocketing.
Right above that 20-day moving average, too, on the daily there on Zim.
Yep.
Here's Zap still flirting with that VWAP. Let's see what's going on. Good morning, Carmen. Great to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you enjoyed your day off.
Zim and Zap. That's the morning so far.
You probably didn't have a day off because retail. That's right, Carmen. I'm sorry. Hopefully you're well. GRDI here looks like this is kind of coming back in.
MGOL is trying to break into the
Sure
150 handle. It looks, or not handle, but 150 area. It looks like it's getting some sell orders really piling in here. It's had a nice run, but let's see how far down it goes. I don't know if this is necessarily finished, but this might be just the cooling off period before it makes its next run. So I'm just going to wait and see what happens with MGOL.
VWAP at 119 on this move down, by the way.
GRDI down to the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. So if it doesn't reverse here, then the next target would be 75 cents where the 200 is. Not really enthusiastic about GRDI.
Yeah, me either. Doesn't look great here. I am kind of willing to try MGOL. I definitely don't want to get head faked here, though. I would love this to come back into the VWAP and give us a shot there. Drewski, I know you're trading MGOL here this morning. I hope you're doing well on it. You got any levels you want to share with the group here? CIFR getting mentioned by the group. Let's take a look at that. That's a Bitcoin play, right? Cypher mining here. Big pop off the open there. 60-some cents off the open there. CIFR is actually trying to go higher. New highs put in there.
It's funny because Bitcoin is absolutely tanking right now.
Yeah, it is. It was at 66K when we started the rundown there. It's at 65, 255 there on the futures.
65,000 is a support level. It has been in the past. So we might trade slightly underneath it, but I think we could see some consolidation if we get down to the, we're almost down there, down to the 65,000 level. So we'll see if it can provide support there in a bit.
I'm tempted to try some of this MGOL here and see if it pops above that 145 level. A lot of size there. They haven't started taking it yet. I'm going to try some right here. We'll see if they get
chipping away.
They chipped away at it. I tried some right there. Wasn't able to bust it. We'll see if that ends up working here. Oh, I didn't. I barely even took it. That reset my position thing there.
Looks like it's really getting to get going here.
It was yeah, they were chipping at it. They were chipping at it there. We'll see if they've got enough to take it down.
Somebody wants it higher.
We will, Tom, we'll check out Billy here in a sec. I just want to see if we bust through this spot here at 145 and MGOL.
I'll take a look at GOVX. It's getting mentioned. What's going on here with this one? Not seeing any news. Just a form filing, but prior to that on Tuesday they had some news.
All right, took some MGOL there. We popped through up here at 150. Let's see if we've got the strength to go right through. All right, we'll take that off. Nice little scalp there out of the open. This might not be done, though, on MGOL. Did I really? Oh, I got out. Okay, I got out right before the halt. Okay, I'll take that on a scalp. Well, let's see what happens when this opens. That halt will give us enough time to go around here. Take a look at some of the other ones. Drewski, let me know how you're doing. You had a much better earlier entry here, rocking on that play there, MGOL. Really good patience. Here's GOVX, which we kind of mentioned. This is still right at the VWAP.
Yeah. Did this move on Tuesday? Because if it didn't, then it's moving on late.
Yes. Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, it looks like it moved down. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're right. It did move up.
Yep, intraday.
Okay.
Intraday there on Tuesday.
Then this might be relative volume.
Looks like, yeah, kind of a continuation play. By the way here, NXL, this is one that we talked about. This came into the pre-market low. It's trying to bounce. See if it's got the strength to keep going there. Lynn mentioning out Tesla already here. Out Tesla with $2. So you looks like you're playing Tesla short here. That big time rejection at the VWAP. What level is it? Just shy of 185 there. 184 and change. Now several points down here. We'll see if this can hold 180 on Tesla. Nice trade there out of the gate, Lynn. Give you a register ring for that early on here.
180 is a big level for Tesla. I'd expect that to be support.
Relly getting mentioned by Chase. Chase, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Relly is curling here. This is a penny stock for the penny players. We are above the pre-market high here. We've seen on some of these penny names that really kind of clearing that area out seems to juice the stock for a little bit later. So Relly so far here looking good. The next thing you'd be looking at here is a little bit more volume. If this can expand any more, maybe we see another move like we saw here. Also, I believe this move was on Tuesday. Jay Rice, good morning. Hope you're doing well. SMCI here right at the highs. This looking like this is going for 1,000. I would totally agree with you there, Jay. This does look like it's going to test 1,000 again. How are the rest of those, by the way? Nvidia still strong here this morning? Nah, not really. The strength is in the pre-market there. How about Micron? That looked a little bit stronger. Okay, Micron giving up all of its pre-market's gain and the gains from Tuesday in this move down right out of the open. CMND was another one from our list here this morning. That didn't work. Is GRDI still? Okay, GRDI did, to its credit, it did try to get back here to the VWAP, but it was rejected at that VWAP. So to me, that's going to be the next mile marker to take a look at here. AMD popping. What else you got, 13?
Yeah, it's GRDI is trying to retake $1 at the moment, and that's where the fight is right now. Yep. CLSK trying to actually just reclaim the open. NXL, that thing is... This might go down to 111. Oh, it's right there. This is where the support was in pre-market. So if it doesn't hold up here, then we're probably going back down to wherever it was when it started. So back down to close to 75 cents.
Danielle, sorry to interrupt you there. Danielle, you had asked about Atro at the onset. This so far doing a decent job holding, and I'm encouraged to see the volume really kind of increase after the pre-market. As 13 mentioned, this was kind of light volume earlier, but this one looking pretty decent here.
Yeah, this one could squeeze too. It's got a high short interest with a high days to cover. Just needs to, I guess, get noticed and also have that volume pile in, and then this thing could get moving like we want to see it.
Okay, awesome. Jay here saying, Ryan, you see that Chewy move on Tuesday? Jay, you must have just joined after we talked about that. As I said a while ago, that report was a character change indeed. And in fact, that character change that you're mentioning here, Jay, first of all, I completely agree with you. That was one of the parts of me taking that trade. Not only did we have that technical move above a really crucial moving average and we were a real beat down chart, really looked like that turned around. Certainly seems like there's a character change there. And to your point about Tuesday, that kind of shows that, right? Like we really sold back off and the buying was ferocious on Tuesday. Huge move there. I don't have any position on Chewy now. I'm all out of it now. That trade was a profit, but I will be looking for that again on Chewy. Voodoo here, I appreciate this. Ryan just closed a butterfly option based off one of Anne Marie's ideas for NVIDIA for a nice profit, a 4-day hold. Voodoo, registering for you. That is absolutely awesome. Anne-Marie, like I've been saying for a while, those trades are great. I know butterflies, not everyone's cup of tea, but I'll tell you what, nice profit over 4 days on NVIDIA. We'll take that. That's really good stuff there. Okay. Let's see what else is going on here. Palantir, we talked about this one earlier here. Palantir looking real strong. This did sell right off the open. Let's see if this can reclaim and go green on Palantir. They had a news here, I think a $19 million contract. Let me pull that up here so I can give you the correct stats.
MGOL is open.
Let me go back to that. Yeah, Palantir secures $19 million contract. Let me go to MGOL. What are you seeing here, 13? Oh, that is higher.
Yeah, I think I made a good decision taking a little bit there too with you. Sold some of that already. Don't have a whole lot left.
Good job. Good job keeping a trailer, though. I was all in, all out on my scalp 13. It looks like the trailer here was probably the smarter move, to be honest. It looks like you got a little bit more after that halt.
Not using a trailer. I just had my limit order set before the before.
Gotcha. I apologize.
Oh, no worries. A trailer probably would have been even better.
Yeah,
to be honest.
No question. SMCI here, the dash to 1,000 is on, Jay. Looks like we're only 4 points away from that. That's coming. Didn't think today, though, on 1,000. Well, okay, technically, knock on wood, we're not there yet, so I don't want to make the early call, but man, oh man, this thing, big move here out of the gate. Great trade, once again. Great trade, Jay.
Do you think they eventually do a stock split? Do you think they're a candidate for a?
Yeah, I do, Nick. You know what? We had a question. This is funny that you're asking this right now because we had a question, I believe, on Tuesday's happy hour right before we adjourned for our break. And one of the gentlemen in there, Jax, had asked, hey, what do you think about some of these other stocks might they be potential split candidates? SMCI was one of them. KLAC was one of them. I threw Costco in there. Costco's been an absolute beast recently. You can see that potentially splitting. What are your thoughts, Chat? Do you think some of these stocks should split? Do you think they will split? Curious to know. And you know what else, Nick? I wonder what do you think might happen after we see the Broadcom and Chipotle split? Do you think that entices other companies or not?
Yeah, because CNBC had an article and they listed candidates for potential stock splits, and it was Supermicro Computer, Costco, Spotify, Ulta Beauty, ServiceNow, AutoZone, Booking Holdings, Decker Outdoors. It seems
Decker Outdoors, that was another one we talked about.
It seems though, Ryan, a lot of these companies, once the stock runs so much, even if you split, it still runs up. We saw that with NVIDIA. I just don't know if that's an outperformer or an outlier. Yeah. But the history does say when you do a stock split, the data tends that your stock typically does well. So I know past performance is no guarantee of future results, but it seems that the data does point when you do a stock split, a company does perform well overall because it also helps the shareholders depending on whatever you do. I think Chipotle is doing a 50-for-1 soon. So that's really going to be enticing. Given their stock price, given their performance. But Supermicro Computer, that could be one given AI and everything that's related to that. That could performly do very well, just like NVIDIA. So we'll have to watch the stock splits to see. And I think it was Jay Woods this morning, from Freedom Capital Markets, Chief Global Strategist on CNBC this morning. He even talked about IPOs coming to the market and anything with AI, that if you're an IPO ready to go, you could see potentially just your stock could go way up given AI.
Okay. Real good stuff there. When it comes to stock splits, if you boil it down to its simplest form, if a stock is doing a forward split like NVIDIA or Chipotle or Broadcom, that means the company's doing well. If the stock is doing a reverse split, there's generally problems. So you can always just kind of boil this down to its simplest form. All of the companies that you mentioned, Nick, they're all doing great. So I could see it here. Jay Rice saying that's actually one of the reasons why I bought it. Shout out to you, Jay. You were on this several weeks ago. And
Zap
so
moving.
That worked. Zap, Z-A-P-P?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's trying to reclaim, or it's already reclaimed VWAP, trying to stay above it and break this 210 level that it's been trying to get above since the open. So just waiting to see if that's if it's going to take that out, and if it does, then 225 is next, which is the pre-market high.
Excel not really moving. Zap the big mover here.
Also, MGOL, while you were talking, got halted down.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was already out of it. I think that some other folks, where I saw some other folks get already out of it too. Great play. Good job, guys.
Yeah. Nice little win off the open there. I'll take it. I managed to do it with you guys this time. A small scalp, but it worked. How is Chewy doing here? Aaron, looking like you're taking a put here. It looks like the thesis here is that the IV has just crept up. You're looking for that to maybe come in. I'll tell you what, this intraday Chewy chart looks like this might go for some of the highs there.
Bitcoin names turning around. Got the Bitcoin price got down to 65,138, and it turned around. So 65 handle still pretty good for support. Let's see if this could continue. For me, at this moment, it looks like it might not get all the way back up there. This could be a bear flag. I want to see it break the 65 EMA on the 5-minute, which I have at 65,807.
Really quick, while you were talking there, 13, Zap did break that high there, went to the pre-market high.
Nice. We're getting some winners here, guys.
Yeah, we are. And to your point about Bitcoin, I took a look at CLSK. You had mentioned that earlier here, 13, right around $20. This now 20.5. So CLSK showing that Bitcoin strength thus far. Riot also getting mentioning by the chat here. That's at the highs, looking decent. This definitely is flagging here. Seahorse, good morning. Mentioning Zap all over the place. Definitely flirting with that resistance up here. There it goes, right through. 230's got some size. Didn't quite print 230's there. We'll see if we get that in a sec here. Volume really poured into this name. That told the story, as we say all the time here on this channel. Volume tells the story. Look at the size of that candle. Look at the move right up into a resistance level. Chef's kiss, man.
The exact resistance level of the pre-market high. We think we got a penny higher, but yeah, that was the target right there. Was the pre-market high that I was mentioning at 225. Now, if it comes back down and if it comes back down and and VWAP supports it, it could get ready to go some more if it doesn't go here. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say SMCI did print those thousands. Jay out a little bit more, raising stops. Well done. That trade is literally, that trade plan is working out perfectly. Let me get the name right here. Sorry. Lauren mentioning APLD. This is Applied Blockchain along with that Bitcoin move. This actually just set some new highs here too. And that high break was over the after hours session high from Tuesday. So APLD looking good here as well.
We're getting asked by Joseph Madden. Hi, Ryan and 13 MGOL. What are we thinking? I'm thinking. Oh, it just opened, by the way.
Profits, baby. That's what we're thinking.
I got out before that red candle that led us into a halt. We're going to want to see some support happen here, probably at about the 125 area. I would say that's probably the best level of support we can hope for at the moment. We start losing that, then I think we're probably going to end up going down, possibly under $1. So we're going to want to see this cool off a bit, get some support, and have that support hold before we start to move into another trade here. That's what I want to watch for.
Yeah, worth mentioning here, I've got the VWAP on MGOL at 132. At this point, post two halts after this big move here in the pre-market and out of the gate, I'd really like to see it find some support there. Here we go, a little bit of a knife. Let's see if we do find support. That VWAP has now crept up to 133. Little bit of buys here on the offer, a little bit heavier at the 130 level. Here we are at VWAP MGOL. Who's playing it here?
Yeah, I think if I'm going to, I want to see 125 hold. I want to see it get down to there first, though.
Let me ask you, 13, when you're talking about this, when you're talking about some of these knives or these pullbacks and some of these outsized movers in the morning, are you looking for more of like a flush dynamic, like a bunch of stuff, like a knife, like a quick down move, or are you just looking for it to kind of come into the level and interact at that level?
Well, if I was looking for a quick knife down move, I'd want to see the stock move that way already. I want to see it have those kind of outsized quick movements because one of the things I'd be looking for downside, I'd be looking to play a bounce. So if it comes down to like VWAP and bounces, which happens a whole bunch, or one of the more the stronger EMAs like the 65, lots of times you can just see where these those EMAs are on these small and long-term time frames, and just get an idea of where you would want to try to play for the bounce. That's worked before, and you tend to get a much bigger bounce when you have these violent up and down moves in the stock. Right now, that's not happening with MGOL, so that's why I'm more looking for some support at 125, not necessarily an outsized move, but just some support, since we're not whipping around as much as some of those other stocks do.
Okay. And real quick, while you were giving that breakdown there in MGOL and the pullback, market's at the highs here, right? So SPY up off the bottom, hasn't taken out its pre-market high, but doing all right here. The Dow, on the other hand, above its highs and above its highs from Tuesday, I believe. Indeed. Let's check in here on the Qs. Looks like that is rebounding as well. So the market so far here, market seems to be holding in. We talked about some of these high flyers perhaps driving some of this. Lion also mentioning LGVN. This is, of course, Longeveron. This gave us a really decent trade earlier this week. Longeveron here, let's see if we can get above this 250 area. MBio also being mentioned here by Lion Atlas for a potential watch. MBio was flirting with trying to take out its VWAP here.
Zap got another 25 cents past the pre-market high, so that one's, and it's still going.
Hollow popping here, so expect a hollow YOLO Jolo call coming here pretty soon. Jay, let me know, or Jay Wild, are you on this one, Hollow? Are you on this one here today? AMD, talked about that one. Wow, AMD real strong here. Indeed, that was one of the laggards here. Nice little morning for AMD. GRDI, last time we talked about that one, it was flirting with the $1 level. Well, look at this, still doing the same thing and actually can't get above its VWAP. that's going to tell the story here. Here's Zap, which is continuing to the highs here. Whoever hit Zap here, great job.
I think Carmen might still be in it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Carmen. But also Hollow, we talked about it last week, or not last week. I think maybe it was earlier this week before the holiday. This, you can look at a daily chart and you can just see how this stock, this hibernates for about 6 months at a time. And, you have the beginning of the year and just after the summer when you see these really large pops in HOLO. So I think that's when we're probably going to end up getting another really big move is if the pattern holds up, it'll probably be sometime in August or September when this thing starts to really take off again.
Okay. Real good stuff there. SMCI 1,006 now. Huge move here. Accenture, this is one we talked about. This actually giving up its pre-market gains post those earnings here. Watch Accenture, see if this gets to a tradable level. We'll check in on the big movers here. MGOL and ZAP seems to be where the money flow is. MGOL still flirting with its VWAP there. ZAP just ripping. Holy smokes. That's going to be halted here at 291 if this holds.
Let's see. Time to put some levels out here for ZAP. Oh,
ZAP halted. ZAP halted.
Yeah, 460s. Look like that's going to be where the big consolidation is, and that starts at about 4.
Grats, by the way, anyone that sold or trimmed into this ZAP move, you played that one right. Reclaim the VWAP. We used the volume as an indicator here. We kept taking out some of those highs. Really good stuff here from the group. I'm 1 for 1. I took MGOL. Looks like the group here 2 for 2. ZAP and MGOL. Well done.
And they're both halted.
Webcoin says GME buying the Chewy rumor. What are you referring to there? Am I just dumb? Is this part of like the GameStop like discussion, Reddit theory, thesis? Give me some more on that one. I'm not sure what you're referring to there. I think maybe that's the Ryan Cohen connection. I don't know.
You're right, Joseph, man. Right down to that 125 level on MGLO. Now I want to see it hold. And if we start to turn around, then I think that'll be my signal to take another trade here. But look at the MACD. This looks like it still might be rolling over. So that's why I want to see 125 hold up with support. So we could trade down beneath it. I just want to see it continue to close at or above 125 on the 5-minute chart.
Okay, well, it's halted here at 125 MGOL. Really quickly regarding that news here, I found it in the news feed. Watching shares of Chewy, traders are circulating rumors saying that Ryan Cohn could be buying a position of $3 billion. Okay, and that was one of the squawks, which I don't have on. Appreciate you, Webcoin. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I don't know if I can actually speak to that rumor, but Chewy here, man, is this doing well? That was a good one. That was a good play. No doubt.
Zim may end up going higher here. Nothing but green candles in this one so far.
Jay had mentioning Donkey Kong, DraftKings, of course, DKNG, 9 points off the 135 level. This did happen fast. We also, Jay, had a gap fill here, right? We filled that gap up to about $41. We've gone higher now above that 50-day. DraftKings looking pretty good. This likely on the back of the Euros and the Copa America, which starts tonight. This is a great trade. Shout out to Zoltan, who was also in this. Jay, I think you were first when you were talking about it around 35, but I think Zoltan was on this 36, 37. He traded this for multiple points. So shout out to our news desker, Zoltan. This was a great trade thesis that he shared with our group. MGOL still halted. Zap's halted. What else we got going on here?
Bitcoin had another pull down to the level it bounced off of earlier, trying to get support from there, but it's still looking pretty weak. So I'm kind of questioning whether or not 65,000 is going to hold throughout the day. But it's affecting all the other Bitcoin stock names. CLSK has come in since then and trying to rebound. So like I say all the time, just watch Bitcoin. You'll get an idea of where these the Bitcoin stocks are headed.
IBM, pretty nice looking chart here today. Nice performance here today. Also pretty nice looking chart on the daily here. 175, going to be some resistance here. Potential gap fill up to 182. Current price 172. So IBM kind of looking juicy. Good morning, Becca. Are you still joining us from the Pacific Ocean on your vacation? If so, that's dedication and we appreciate it. Hope your morning is going well.
You know, when Zap unhalts, I'm curious to see if it goes to 350. That's the next target I have for that one.
Okay, that's been halted for a bit, right? We're ready for that one.
Yeah, that and MGOL should be
opening here pretty soon.
Close, getting close to being done.
Tony, good mention here. GRDI, I had it all but forgotten about it. Yeah, volume holding up here. We crossed through the VWAP. That's really what we've been waiting for earlier here. GRDI looking pretty good. 116 now. Things maybe have changed here, GRDI. We'll see where this pop goes.
Yeah, this is also tied to Bitcoin too. So if Bitcoin recovers, this one will as well.
We're going to see if this trend line ends up holding up here at all. Gives you a potential target of right around 130 here on this move, GRDI. Last day in Alaska. All right, Becca, make it a good one. Make it a good one. How are the glaciers out there? That is a once-in-a-lifetime trip. I tell you what, my buddy that went on an Alaskan trip said it was one of the best things he ever did.
Zap open.
Let's take a look here at Zap.
And we're almost a 350.
That's what a call, 13. Here you go.
Almost there.
Just hold them off for a few seconds. Just hold those cells off for a few seconds here. We didn't quite print that, but man, nope. 338, your high print there.
Yeah. Sorry, I was 12 cents off, guys. Oh, no, wait, maybe it's not that.
Yeah, that might have been an early call, buddy. That might have been an early call. A little bit of size there at 340, but that's no match for this stock here.
MGOL is also
349 high print, 349.
Ta-da.
Here's your MGOL. This is going lower here, so this is totally changing.
Yeah, this is what I was waiting to see if it would happen or not. 125 is the level I wanted to see hold. Like I said, it still needs to have the whole candle play out, and they're 5-minute candles that I'm watching. So I want to see it close above 525. I have another minute or 2.5 minutes to have the price get back up there.
SOUN, good call here, Lynn. This popped on volume through the VWAP and is holding it so far. Recent software acquisition to enter the drive-through AI voice ordering market. I don't even know what to make of that, to be quite honest with you.
Zap through that level I had, but it got as high as 384 and is now coming back in. Then my next level was 390. After that, I have 422 and 462.
What a move on Zap.
Zap
is right. Good stuff here, group.
And this was one of the ones I was like, EVs are, they're not.
The IBRX, wow.
I was talking this one down because of the EVs not being in favor right now.
AMD at the highs. Lauren, I'm wondering if you're trading that one. NVIDIA kind of just even here. How was Micron doing? We saw that earlier, really pulling back. Micron, yeah, definitely giving that back. See if that goes lower here. NXL was another one we took a look at here this morning. That actually looking like it might be trying to reclaim the VWAP. This is coiling here. NXL.
I'd like to see NXL move off this area that it's at right now. It's been down here pretty much all morning. It's getting support from the 200 EMA on the 5-minute, but it's got VWAP and all the other the EMAs I'm looking at right above it. So there's quite a bit of moving averages to push through. Needs more volume.
VIX at the highs, by the way, 1288. So Dow's ripping here. Q's higher, SPY higher a little bit, and so too is the VIX.
If the S&P closes at a record, this will be the 32nd record close this year.
Wow.
That's silly.
SMCI still holding above 1,000 here.
Ryan, I like research, and you know that. So I just did this. So CNBC has a market strategy survey, a strategist survey, and they poll each year, and they keep track of the research firms that have a year-end target. Out of 13 research firms, 8 of them now have a year-end target below the current level on the S&P 5,500, and that doesn't include Tom Lee, who's still at 5,500. So basically, 8 out of 14 research firms have a target below 5,500, with JP Morgan being the lowest at 4,200 year-end.
Okay, so let me ask you, what do you make of that? Do you think more re-ratings are coming?
Yes.
Or do you think a pullback is coming?
No, I think re-ratings are coming. We saw 3 this week. Remember, we saw Evercore, Citi, and Goldman. Evercore's with the highest of 6,000, and Goldman and Citi are at 5,600 for year-end. I think that Marko Kolanovic over at JP Morgan or Dubrovko, I think they need to recapitulate here. Like, I think they need to throw in the towel here, because I think we could go to 6,000 by year end given this market. I know the breadth isn't strong enough, and we reiterate that the breadth is actually very terrible, and how many 52-week lows versus new highs that the S&P is getting. If NVIDIA and tech continues to keep moving, I think 6,000 is not far in sight.
Okay. NXL here, right under the VWAP. You know, the one thing that's got me worried about that, Nick, is that the contrarian in me has a hard time stomaching that. If everyone all of a sudden turns bullish, to me, that's time for the market to really kind of come in.
I think it is time for a pullback. I think we are well stretched and well over bought right now. I think that the S&P has run up very quickly compared to the October lows, and we haven't had a healthy pullback. And normally when you have a healthy market, you get a healthy pullback and then you start to move higher. Here, we haven't had a 2% pullback in over 300 some trading days on the S&P, and we continue to just hit record after record. And it's the same stocks doing it over and over again. It's the NVIDIAs, it's the Microsofts, it's the Apples. And yes, it's big tech, but you can't have a market if you have 5 stocks making new highs and the 495 other companies are barely to nothing here.
Yeah, I want to see more diversification. That's something that we've been talking about quite a bit here. CMTL, this trying to pop off of its VWAP here on CMTL. Maybe this tries to go higher. 420 for wisdom and lulls is your high there. See here in CMTL.
It's funny, Jay Rice. It doesn't even feel like that it was that much of a pullback, but you're right. It was the biggest downside move so far this year, actually, back in April, and that was actually during the last buyback blackout period, from the end of March till the beginning of May.
I've going higher here. Zap stalled right at that 350 that 13 gave you. Well done.
Yeah, it's getting support at the 350 area now, though, so that would make people hopeful.
Around here for some more pause. This CMTL. Maybe if it takes out that 420, this is actually a decent spot here, CMTL.
Yeah, Zap and MGOL trying to figure out if they want to go higher or not.
BTTR is currently halted. Pending news is coming.
Say that one more time.
BTTR is the ticker.
BTTR.
Better Choice Company shares are actually halted at this point. Incoming news.
Okay, halted news pending.
588,000 shares in the float. So depending on the news, could see some massive volatility here. What was the deal with this company? They they get notice from the NYSE. Or they have a regulation letter they got last month from the NYSE. What was that about? Or is this just moving because Chewy's moving? Aside from that news. Anybody?
Don't know. Sorry, flipping around through a couple of things here. Sorry, 13.
No worries. Zim still pushing higher. Looks like it wants to try to go for those early morning highs here. It got when it opened. We saw $20.29. We're almost there.
Around. I don't see anything else. Looks like we covered everything, at least so far.
Zap might be if it needs to come down a little bit, but if it finds support above 275, we might get another move in Zap. Looks like GLO is trying to turn around.
Yeah. MGOL.
Yeah.
Got to retake that VWAP here. GRDI under $1.
All right, now Zim, new intraday highs. This is a grinder.
Did you rebuy this?
When it was going down, I was just slowly trickling into it.
Gotcha.
I sold most of what I had this morning. I still have a tiny bit left.
Nicely done.
Not sure if I'm gonna, not sure what I'm gonna do with it yet. Actually, let me look at my chart here. Yeah, I want to see if this breakout that we have today in Zim holds up. I'd want to see it retake 2150, because if it can't, then we might get some a lot more downside in Zim.
Dell pulling back off its initial highs there. NVIDIA kind of rolling over a little bit. AMD off of its highs, but still really strong.
Zap coming down, and if the move is quick enough, you could get a little bit of a bounce off of VWAP.
I've got VWAP at 285.
Yeah, so I mean, if you position yourself enough, you can, and correctly, you can play the VWAP bounce that I'm sure is either going to rip right through it, or it's going to bounce right off it. And typically what happens when it comes down to VWAP at the rate that it's going, it'll usually bounce. And then what happens after that bounce, anyone's guess. It can continue going lower, it can reverse and go higher.
And Bitcoin's still probing those lows at 65K on the futures. Some of these Bitcoin names, the move has reversed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, under 65K.
IBRX continuing to move up here. We did take a look at this one. I didn't have any trade on this one, though. This just kept moving here, really using the VWAP as really nice support. I don't see a buy spot on this yet, though. Gilead on the relative volume scanner. That popped higher here.
Yeah, look at CLSK now.
Big
Really
pull
coming
there.
in.
Yeah.
All right, looks like MGLO is trying to get back above 125.
MGOL, that is.
Did I say something different? I said LO.
MGLO.
Yeah, sorry about that.
All good. I do it every day, 13.
So
Try some right here.
MGOL. My first initial thought here is that it's going to get some resistance where VWAP is. And if it gets through VWAP, then we can start talking about breaking 150 again.
Took some at 129 there, which is where I had the VWAP. See if it can move higher here. Just kind of sitting right there. Q's red. Okay. Okay, so maybe we're pulling back here a little bit. See if MGOL can grind higher here.
All right, we're getting close to where Zap could potentially bounce at VWAP.
There we go on MGOL. 145 has got a ton of size here on MGOL. This was a great call, 13. You were right on that. Timing was excellent.
I know Marcus Separate bringing a good point that Andy was telling us about too. Wait until it dips below VWAP and then recovers and then get it. That's another way to do it too. And that absolutely does work. I'm just talking about that initial move down when it touches VWAP and then that subsequent move back up after it touches. That happens really quickly, and you tend to want to have order cancels order or bracket orders set up for that. Like if you're talking about capturing like a 10, 30, 50 cent move, just like that, that's the way you can see it done, is just playing those bounces off the VWAPs and EMAs.
MGOL coming up to the 145 spot, big size there. This would be interesting to see if it takes this out. Just lost 140 there. Let's see if we get it. I definitely don't want to let this go red on me, so I want to take some gains here. Let's see if we can pop a little bit more. Come on, MGOL.
Yeah,
nice move.
In case VWAP provides too much of a resistance, that's
I'm actually going to take MGOL off here. We'll see if it goes through 145. 2 for 2 on MGOL today. Now that we've got some profits built up, maybe we can try an upside pop here. Really good stuff there. Emiliola asking Ryan and 13. So what does the NKLA reverse split mean? It's a 30-cent stock now. So if they're going to reverse split, that means the stock price is going to go up by that factor of 30, and the shares are going to go down by that factor of 30.
Yeah. Just share consolidation. It's going to make the stock easier to move around.
Indeed. Okay, MGOL, that was a pretty good sell. We came back in off that pop going for that 145. We'll see if that comes back up there. Glad we took those gains early. 2 for 2 on that name. CMTL, this looking like this is trying to break out here. Still that 420 high. Lynn mentioning an Archer move here. We talked about that one earlier. Is that moving up here? Yes, it is. Just a little bit. What were you saying, 13?
I just said, there we go, because I'm playing the reversal and Zap off of VWAP, and so far it's working out. I'm just kind of selling into the strength.
Nicely done. Jay mentioned that the Qs are turning red. Hab Talem saying NVIDIA is starting to go red, so maybe we're turning around here a little bit. I did see the SPY kind of hold. Was that a kit? Yeah, so SPY pulling back here as well. Jay, how's your SMCI doing? Looks like that really kind of topped out above 1,000. But I tell you what, that was a textbook trade, Jay. Great job hitting almost the dead top on that. On another sell here today. I tell you what, you beat that trade like a drum, my man. EW, nice little grind higher here. Edwards Life Sciences.
What was the mention on Archer? Oh, okay, I see now. Was there news, or is this just moving along with the other air taxi stocks?
Zap continuing to bounce here. 330. The next spot was size. Oop, looks like some of it got cleared off there.
Oh, they have news. So Archer's planning is doing air mobility network in San Francisco. So that's New York and San Francisco, and I guess part of United Arab Emirates. That's the networks I think they're deploying, that I can recall from memory. Cool.
Zap here, 323.
Oh, did you see that Archer also got a overweight rating and maintained a $10 price target from Cantor Fitzgerald?
I did not, but that's good. That's really good news.
Yeah.
Zap's still trying to push higher here on the Zap move.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly looked like it set up a flag here. So if it can get a recapture 350, it might end up taking out 385 that it just put in about 20 minutes ago.
And it's starting to speed up here now. That last little tick up there, volume started to increase as well. Well done, 13. You in fuego today, dude. I don't know if this is gonna. Are you gonna start showing up tired every day because you're just having such a good morning here today? What's the deal?
Maybe that's the play. Just be like, who cares? This market is so manipulated. Blah blah blah. It's raining outside. Who cares? Let's just throw money at this stock. Hey, it runs. Good job.
I tend to believe that that's not the right move.
That's not what I'm doing. No.
Really good stuff here today, though.
It's been fun this morning.
I have fun every time I hang out with you folks. I'll be honest, even though I was golfing yesterday, I looked down at my watch and I realized it was 8:45 in the morning. I was just checking to see where I was in, and I immediately thought to myself, I wonder how the group is doing. It was good, though, because I thought about the people and not the work, and that made me happy.
I wasn't even up yet yesterday at that time.
That's amazing. I'll tell you what. Look, Nick, I'll say this. I heard this from my parents, and I used to, you guys are absolutely crazy. There's no way. They used to tell me as you get older, you become more and more of a morning person. Nick, I was someone that on the weekends, if I slept to 11:30, I was as happy as a clam. Better still if it was the football season, because I enjoyed my first cup of coffee with the kickoff of NFL Sunday. But I'll tell you what, as I get older and older now, there's just something about waking up and attacking the day early that just really kind of sets the table for me. I also really like working out in the morning as opposed to the afternoon. So I think as you get older, you'll become more of a morning person too.
Oh, I am a morning person some days if I don't go to bed too late, but
So Robert, this is an interesting question. I'd like to kind of turn this over to the chat. Would like to get a range of opinions on this question, frankly, not just my own. Robert saying, would love your opinion. How do we feel about a covered call position on NVIDIA? Premiums are high. So are you talking about selling calls based on the long stock that you have and letting them get called away if the stock continues to push up? I'll say this on, I kind of like the idea here, if that's in fact what you're talking about. The stock's moved so much, I'm going to assume that you're in some pretty good profit on the stock that you have. If you sell an upside call against it, collect the premium early. If the stock drops, you just got free premium on that sale. If the stock continues to push up, then you're locking in gains on that. So to me, that actually sounds like a pretty disciplined plan. Maybe there's something I'm not thinking of right here. Toss that out to the group, though. What do you folks think about Robert's plan here to sell upside calls against his current stock position?
I think if you're already in a big profit with NVIDIA already just on the equities alone, and you're just trying to capture extra premium, I don't think there's any way you can lose on that. I just think that the only possibility is that you'd be missing out on potential premium, which for this plan, I don't think that really matters. I think the whole point here is to just try to capture some extra premium on a safe side in case this stock does start to roll over. At least you'll have that if the equity goes down. On the other side, depending on what the strike is on the calls, if the price continues to go up, you're only going to be limited to what the strike is, but at the same time, you're not going to be red on that. So I think this is just like, it's a very, very safe way to play NVIDIA up here if you're already long the commons. That's my thought, though.
Yeah. Robert saying my only fear is a bubble burst on this. Well, I think that would factor more into where you actually bought the shares. Remember, if you sell an upside call and the stock craters, you don't have to pay that back. You just keep that money from the call that you sold. And then so it becomes the equation or the position becomes where are you at with your shares? By the way, speaking of where are you at right here, market's starting to accelerate to the downside a little bit. I just took a look at the Qs chart. This looks like a waterfall for all you TLC fans from the 90s. SPY here also kind of turning over here, and we'll see if the Dow is going to do the same thing. Dow actually at the highs, so diverging from the rest of them.
NVIDIA looks like it's just filling a gap from today on a lower time frame. If you go to say a 5-minute chart, it looks like we're just kind of filling that entire gap between the after hours close on Tuesday and the pre-market open on this morning. You see what I'm talking about there?
Sorry, I was actually reading the chat and was not listening to you at all. I apologize. Look, I'm just going to be honest. I'm not going to bullshit you here. I apologize for my language. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Sorry, 13. Did you say something? No, if you look at like a 5-minute chart for NVIDIA, the price is just completely filling the gap between the after hours close and the pre-market open.
So this is what you're talking about right here. It's this little gap fill that you're talking about.
Yep. So we could see the price.
Hey, Tiff, someone got the TLC waterfalls joke. I threw that out there and I didn't see any reaction from you, 13. And I was like, oh, shoot, I might have overshot there. Tiffany, thanks for making me feel like thanks for making me feel not like a moron. I'm glad somebody got that one. Okay.
Oh, I got that one. You know,
okay.
I just was kind of just going to let it go, but hey, you got it right. You got to stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
Okay, well done. Okay, we're having a lot of fun here on a Thursday. Real quickly, Robert, you'd also said here, I don't have the shares yet. So here we are. This is one of the reasons why trade plans, you could take bits and pieces from other people, but at the end of the day, the trade plan is really going to be determined by your risk to reward setup and then your tolerance for that risk that you've accepted here. Jay's Life also saying, make sure that the premium is enough for the downturn. If it goes down 10 or 20%, make sure you're collecting 10 or 20% on that premium, or else you're going to be losing money. So this changes the calculus completely here, Robert. One thing we should do, I think, Robert, we should ask about NVIDIA tomorrow on Anne-Marie's segment and see if there's a way where you can expose yourself to NVIDIA, options with a reduced risk. We'll explore that one. We'll explore that one. Becca saying, "Nah, I got it, Ryan. Okay. I got it. You're welcome. Thanks, Tiffany. Okay, at least I'm not alone here. You guys are making me feel a lot better. Appreciate you.
I'm coming in with some re-lyricism, and so is Marcus Sniper's kind of adding to the verses as well.
I love when people modify songs to fit the situation. That is where it's at.
So now we have NVIDIA reversing and coming back up. So that gap fill, that was the call right there.
Wow, that would have actually made for a decent day trade. You know what, 13? We should see if this setup works more, because we're seeing some of these stocks trade up in the pre-market and then come back in the regular session. And so I'm wondering if there's not some type of pattern that we can turn into maybe a small scalp or a day trade.
It's a gap fill trade. These happen all the time where we're filling the gap. And as soon as we fill the gap, we're getting to like, if you look and see where that consolidation was right beneath through that gap fill, that's where the price ended up reversing. So, it pretty much creates a support level when you have a demand zone like that. Now we're reversing off that demand zone. I mean, these happen all the time. We see gap fills happen all the time. As soon as they filling the gap, if they don't continue running, they'll just reverse right then and there and go the other way. Look at ZAAP. This one's still hanging out here above its VWAP, and it could start to move back up towards 350 again. Sorry to switch gears on you.
No, all good.
Yeah, that's a good point, Lion Atlas. If you believe NVIDIA will go higher, then sell. Put and collect, great premium, and if it goes down, you will own NVIDIA at a very lower price. If you look at GME, what do you think? I haven't taken a look at GME today, so let's see what it's doing. I think they wasn't there like a rumor that somebody just mentioned like not too long ago? About
that was the Chewy GME, the Ryan Cohen perhaps taking a stake in Chewy worth $3 billion. That's what the rumor is. I think that more affects Chewy than GME, to be honest. But I think what Webcoin had said earlier that was squawked, and Charlie's relating that to GME. So,
on the 5-minute chart, it looks like it's getting resistance at about 20. Not exactly $25, but just beneath it. Let's see if I can get anything from the daily. You know, I would have to think that the 500 day SMA just kind of needs to hold up. We're not really getting support from it at the moment. It was support previously, like back last month, but we're trading and holding above 24, it seems, for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. Probably because if I look to the left, that's where the bottom of this consolidation zone is from 22. So we could be getting some support from that area here.
Sorry, I muted my notifications on Slack, and I glanced over at it, and I had 22 missed messages, and immediately my cheeks started tingling like something was going wrong. I was missing something, so I apologize here as I was just kind of covering that up.
More interesting than GME right now is Zap getting right back up to 350. It looks like this thing is going to want to try and push higher. Let's see if it can. And thanks for pointing it out there, Danielle. I was busy looking at GME. I really don't have a whole lot I can add to GME because this, the moves that this has aren't really related to anything fundamental or that has to do with the company. It's just one guy that's pumping it. So when we start to hear from him again, we'll see some more volume in this. But if you look at a daily chart, the volume has completely disappeared. All right.
Purgatory Park took the joke one step further and plugged it into Chat GPT and took waterfalls and turned it into a stock song.
Okay.
I gotta say that is just full of just heart right there. Purgatory Park. I appreciate that.
How about a contest, Ryan? The best.
We don't need to do contests. No, I don't need to participate in any of that.
I'm not talking about you participating. I'm talking about like what could we do where we put up a contest for prizes where somebody comes up with the best the best TLC lyrics to waterfalls and relate it to the stock market.
I mean, that's going to be a completely subjective thing. We run the risk of offending people that don't win.
Then votes. The chat can vote. Just
Get
an
the
idea.
wheel back out.
Yeah, I'm just because everybody's having fun in here, and they're really really talented and clever with coming up with these lyrics. So I thought, why not put that talent to use and make something good out of it? Excuse me.
Guys, we are seeing a number of GDP revisions trickling in. Atlanta Fed GDP now for Q2 dropped to 3%, was previously 3.1. Goldman actually lowers their Q2 GDP to 1.9. Previously was 2. It all comes back on today's data with the Philly Fed, housing starts, claims. So we are starting to see some GDP revisions trickle in. It is worth noting that the Atlanta Fed is very volatile, so we'll see how it continues to play out.
Zap's still trying to reclaim 350. It traded up there, but we have not closed above it yet.
Q's trying to bounce.
Yeah, MGOL. I got that right. It is still kind of it's going sideways right now, so still slightly holding up here, but we'll see what happens here. I'm not sure about MGOL yet right now. Just waiting to see what happens with ZAPP, if this is going to retake 350 or not, or if it's just going to blast on down through VWAP.
SMMT, decent price candle here.
So waiting to see what BTTR is going to do when it unhalts. Zim, after hitting the $20.39 high this session, has not been able to reclaim it. Got a bunch of upper shadows in their 5-minute candle, so not looking too good for Zim at the moment. All right.
But this is another Bitcoin name. This is the miner. This is actually pretty strong here. GovX on the scanner. That reclaimed the VWAP just now.
Jay's Life, are those waterfalls natural, or are they just kind of flowing out of a pipe? We all remember that news, right?
Oh God, the fake waterfall that China installed a pipe to. The world's tallest waterfall evidently existed in China, but turns out that they installed a pipe there to shoot water out and said that they were helping. I'm not sure how that works. Yeah. It's just kind of silly. Allie here. What do you think about snow? All right. Let me bring up a. Say again.
It melted. I'm not talking about the stuff that falls out of the sky. I'm talking about the stock too. That thing melted.
So that is so good, 13. It did, in fact, melt here from this, double top that we put in at about 237. This chart here for me, I mean, maybe we're at a support level here. I think maybe we probably want to wait this one out here. This has really kind of been sideways since 2022. There's been some gyration there, but nothing huge to note. If we break this low, I'd be concerned about snow on this air pocket down. It looks like right here. I'm concerned that it looks like the current daily chart looks like it wants to go lower. I'm concerned we're under all these moving averages. The one thing I will say here, RSI is kind of low while we're at a potential support level. So maybe there's a potential trade here. Do you recommend to hold? I cannot make a recommendation on what you do with your positions. What I can tell you here, some of the key levels that I would be interested in for adjusting my plan would be this low here from June of 2022. Got that in here at about 112. Let's call it 110 to 112 there. Momentum doesn't look great here. What's the short interest like on this? Nah, that's not really a whole lot to note. Let's look at the insiders here. It looks like they're selling on the open market. Guess there was a buy here from one of the directors. And that was a pretty big buy, 131. Some of these were tax sells. Yeah, maybe for a trade here. I don't feel like I'm busting down the door here to go trade snow. What do the analysts have as recommendations here for this one?
Their last earnings report was, I think, really, really bad. Really bad. And if you look at their income statements, that was one of the worst reports they've had in a while.
And that was the first bad report, 13, to your point, since 2020. December of 2020.
It could be a buy at some point, but when does this company actually turn to profit? I mean, I get the balance sheet doesn't look bad at all, but this company at some point needs to turn a profit.
Yeah, I mean, if you need cash, this is not the best environment for your stock,
I don't think this company needs cash. I think they're okay.
Okay.
They have according to their last report, they have 128 million in cash. I'm sorry, that's revenue. No, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Cash, they have 1.3 billion in cash.
Okay, so their cash position is still pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. Don't love it here. I don't love it. Anyone else have anything for Allie in the chat here?
I mean,
you got any opinions on snow?
They have revenue, but their operating expenses are killing them. So they are bringing in revenue. It's the cost of doing their business. Not great. They really need to reel that in. It's not attractive to me yet. All right, ZAPP. Are we going to actually take out 350 this time? It's coming back up off VWAP again. Looks like Zim's also rising as well.
Zap kind of flagging right in here.
Mm-hmm. It almost was curling up to go higher and take out 385. The last time it was trading above 350 just slightly, but seller came in and said, no, not today.
ZNTL here. This is trying to bounce. Looks like this had a rough day on Tuesday. Moving from $8.50 down to $5 and then going lower through the session down to about $4. What happened here? ZNTL. Oh, wow. Morgan Stanley downgrade here this morning. Wells Fargo downgrade. Stifel maintaining buy. FDA has placed a partial clinical hold on one of its therapies. Interesting.
I'm not sure about 3M. Let's see, somebody was just mentioning that Jay's Life. I mean, maybe for a swing, yeah, I could see that, but this is not a company I'd want to be in for the long term. And I do like companies that pay good dividends. I'm just curious or concerned that the dividend could get cut at some point because they just spun off a big generator of revenue from their company, and they still have ongoing lawsuits. So if one of those lawsuits ends up not going their way, they're going to be in a really bad position having to take care of the settlement. So maybe it's a good swing. I can see how like today we're getting a bull flag set up, it looks like, but for the long term, I don't think I'd touch this one. I need to see some their companies start to get past all those lawsuits.
Yeah, and I think you're probably safe waiting for under 100.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going under.
Jay
Right,
Rice sorry.
It is a dividend aristocrat, and that's the big concern is that if that gets cut, this thing is going to absolutely tank.
One more thing here. Jay saying Snow could very well do an AMD and just rip out of the blue. This is a really good point. And this is why shorting some of these names is quite difficult. You wouldn't want to be sitting through a rip there out of the blue. Snow, we've seen that before. It's a good mention here, Jay. I just don't have a great feeling about it. Someone mentioned Billy earlier. We took a little bit of a look at that. That really just struggled with its VWAP. Looks like it's moving lower here on Billy.
So things are just kind of going sideways. Is there anything that you're seeing that's running right now?
Not really. Let me see. Let's see, regular session. MGOL, ZAP, and ALUR going to be your biggest movers here of the day. MGOL has really kind of come back in. ZAP does look like it might be curling up here. ALUR, where are we at with that? Near the highs, volume's kind of low. GRDI and ZNTL round out your big movers there. Ali mentioning ARM is running here. ARM is really kind of pulling back here today. Not a whole lot going on. ARM has been on a big run recently. A little bit of a break here and a pullback would be a good thing, I think.
ARM is going to be absolutely crucial to the whole semiconductor.
Yeah, it sure is.
All right, now we're getting some movement here out of ZAP. Let's look for this break over 350, and we could start talking about 385 getting taken out as well. And 3M, you're getting a little bit of that upside now from the flagging. So maybe 102, it either gets resistance or breaks out. All right, Zach, what are you going to do?
345. There was some size there that it tried to take a few times. I'll try some here. We'll see if this works. We're 3 for 3 today, so if this falls, we'll just have to cut it pretty quick. Oop, oop. Oop. We're going to push back up there. That 350, clearly a spot, 13.
Mm-hmm.
Smoke Tuna, I'll get to your Pixie setup here in a sec. Wow, they just brought in a bunch of offers in the 340 handle right above this. So maybe not looking all to that great. Let's see. Here we go. See if we can go through some of these offers that we had here. 345. There's the chomping the rest of that one. They've got it almost whittled down to nothing.
Yeah, 350 is the big level to get past.
Yep. Here we go. So through 345, 350 up next here, 13. Let's see.
I'm just going to raise my stop.
Here you go. There's the 350. They took some of it there. Not strong enough to get through the first time. Yep, still hanging in here. Let's see if we test that 350 again. Let's see if we test that 350 again.
Stopped out. That's okay.
On
Stopped out
Zap?
for profit. Yep. I was raising my stop just in case.
I got you.
If it runs, it runs.
My stop here is this bid at 337.
Palantir CEO is currently on CNBC. Stock is up about 1.86% off the highs. But I'll moderate the interview and see if we get any good quotes from him.
Okay. You think he's on there with Borla from Pfizer, right? Yeah, I'm out this Zap.
Yes.
Looks like this might be coming in here.
I can look at Pixie.
That one didn't work. Okay, 3 for 4 today. Pixie, let's do that. PIXY.
Coming, it's right up to view app and trying to get past it right now. Volume needs to really be better in this one. Maybe it starts to expand a little bit more once it gets past view app, but right now it's not enough to where I'd want to jump in this thing for a quick move. Yeah, I just want to take a look at is that rejection at Zap? That's sad. I was hoping it would go higher, but it's okay.
That's okay. Yeah, I just working off the profits that we have here for today.
Oh, did BTTR open and then halt? It looks like it did.
Well, you know what? I took that off my screen after we got that was that news pending halt that we got earlier. I
had this, kind of on my watch list, just waiting for it to unhalt. I didn't even notice it unhalt and then halt again.
So here we go. Better Choice set to retire up to 10.4 million of debt obligations and majority of outstanding warrants. Settles the litigation with Alphia, retires 5 million in senior secured debt and 400,000 in accrued interest, retires 335,000 warrants with an 11.44 strike price and enters into an agreement to eliminate 5 million of other indebtedness with a potential of 2 million savings if paid within 90 days. So it looks like they're trying to clean it up down there, and that's driving the stock higher here, up 32%, halted to the upside here.
Yeah. All right. Well,
that was a nice little pop there. Good mention on that. Sorry, I took that off my list when we first talked about the news pending there. I missed that open too, 13.
And see when they did a reverse split in March, a 1 for 44. So that's going to help it move because now the float's, like I think I mentioned earlier, it's the float's 588,000 shares. So, yeah, that was going to be hard to play because I didn't know when the news was going to unhalt.
Smoke Tuna saying this can go 10 plus.
Yeah,
that would be a move.
Yeah, I could see that. Because if you look at what their market cap is, I guess that we could look at it this way. You see what their market cap is, and they're talking about retiring these millions and millions of dollars in debt. It could double the price from here. Absolutely. Looks like Palantir is trying to go for another shot at 2661, the pre-market high. Tried to get up there earlier this morning, got rejected. Zim might have put the top in for the morning, maybe even the day. If the Zim rolls over, let's see what happens at 1950. If it comes down to there, I'd be interested to see if that provides support. Zap's still trying to push higher. Still trying to retake that 350.
Be right back. 1 sec, 13.
No worries. Looks like it's chewing at it, and it looks like it might get it. Maybe. Nope. As soon as it starts looking like it's going to give hope, there we go. It comes back in. This is where the battleground is today, folks, in Zap. Not so much MGOL anymore. That thing, that volume left the building. It has a float lower than 500,000. All right. Well, I'm just reading what I've got here on Pro. Oh, it's open again, and we're higher, and we're gonna keep going higher. Apparently, it looks like the volume hasn't really, completely poured into this yet. It's still a bit spready. Oops. All right. So Zap's still not able to get over 350 yet. If you're not playing BTTR or Zap, what are you playing?
NVIDIA.
NVIDIA, is that where everybody's at? All right.
Is that really what's happening here? Well, it's back to the VWAP here. And W mentioned, haven't checked on that in a bit here. Apple really is pulling back here.
Yeah, let me take a look at the Max 7 today. What's moving, what's not? So Amazon, Google, and Meta. So, communications are up. Consumer discretionary as far as the Max 7 goes.
Better 580 here.
Yeah, it's gonna have a fun day.
Yeah, it's all over the place, kind of spread.
If you're buying now, you're doing it backwards. I agree with that. I don't think this is a good spot to be buying NVIDIA after it's run. How many thousands of a percent has it run now? Since last year? Yeah.
Since what time frame? Let's see. Let's see if we can measure that here.
Since the whole thing started not last month, but last May in 23.
Okay, so May of 2023. Let's just go back to the beginning of May.
Zap went down to VWAP, looking for a bounce. This is the kind of bounce you was talking about earlier, but it's not a very big one. There might be some more downside in this one. This thing's getting rejected at 350 multiple times. It might just have the towel thrown in on it. We'll see.
So, that's May of 2024. For heaven's sakes, Ryan. Jeez, come on. Oh, let me just go to a weekly. This will be easier. I can't believe I was just measuring from the wrong spot, but that's all right.
Nice, Robert. 613, new high in BTTR.
NVIDIA 400% almost since last May. In a year's time, 400%. Just shy of that.
And it continues to keep going higher.
Yeah. Every day, it seems.
Every day. It's the same story every day. I wake up and NVIDIA is higher.
And looks like we're going to get another halt in BTTR.
You go back to that. Oh, I already have it up here.
Hasn't halted, but it looks like it's about to.
630 is going to be that spot if it holds.
There it is.
Circuit breaker halt.
All right, so PLTR is still pushing its way up to at 2661 pre-market high. Just kind of going slow. Volume's fading. Looks like it's kind of just leaving the market in general.
NVIDIA actually has a shareholder meeting next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time.
So with SPY, I was mentioning the previous all-time high as providing support. So far, we've pretty much got that. Had about 15 minutes where it traded just underneath that, but it is still back. It is back above that level and is still looking at that level for support. That level in question, the all-time high previously, 548.62. Doesn't look like it's going to provide very much support with how weak the market looks right now.
AISP up here.
Oh,
at the highs.
Again, this thing loves to just kind of come around.
Which one? Which ticker? I'll bring it up.
The one that you're talking about.
AISP, yeah. Airship.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at the daily chart on this thing. It's great. You know, it runs up and then it goes Hindenburg. This thing is hilarious.
By the way, a couple of weeks ago, there was a History's Greatest Mysteries new episode about the Hindenburg, and it was quite fascinating. Real quick.
Sorry, go ahead.
Real quick. Let me just get this read out of the way. We got about 10 minutes left here, but at 11, stick around for our healthcare and biotech webinar. Sydney, looking at you, I know that you're into those things quite a bit here. Join the healthcare revolution, uncover breakthroughs and investment opportunities. Stick around for the webinar that's coming up after this. I'm going to send you directly over there as soon as this is done. All right, 13.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Great. I love when that happens.
No, because it wasn't anything. Oh wait, yeah, it was about the Hindenburg. What was the thing that that they were talking about in that special?
Well, the History's Greatest Mystery show is they go into all of the different theories about things that are not necessarily known. They investigated all of the different things that could have brought the Hindenburg down, from potential sabotage and the guy's spawn that they investigated, all the way to potential engine failure that caused a spark, which had lit some of the leaking hydrogen that you could see from the tail kind of drooping as it's coming over to the mooring station. So there were, I think, five or six maybe different theories that they kind of just investigated. It was just really interesting. It's not something that I've read about or really kind of dove into for years. So what ticker? Sorry to interrupt you.
GRDI is pushing back up. It's over $1 again. No, that's. I was just curious because I was wondering if maybe the idea of using hydrogen was scrutinized in that special or not.
Well, yeah, it was, but they actually did a really good job of playing both sides of that, because don't forget the Germans back around that time were extremely proficient at handling hydrogen. And actually one of the theories was that the coating of the dirigible itself was one of the reasons that it ended up making such a huge fire and explosion. I mean, ultimately, though, all of the hydrogen burned. You can see it, right? Those bags, there were a bunch of sections that had hydrogen in there. Those eventually all obviously burned.
Oh, we are losing altitude in Zap right now.
GRDI, though, this was a great call here. This did move right through the VWAP, right up to that 118. I also drew a trend line here from those pre-market highs. So if we snap 118 here, as maybe that's 117, I beg your pardon. Got the next target here at about 127. So 10 cents higher from its intraday high. That is, in fact, 117. Lynn, I thought it was a lightning strike. They investigated that too, both positive and negative lightning. Problem was they had hundreds of people on the ground that didn't report that. So like I said, all of these little things, like it's been a long time since the Hindenburg. And so it was just a really interesting show. But by the way, 13, if ever I'm babbling about some TV show, there's never a reason to not interrupt me for stock and potential trade setup. So don't ever worry about that. Okay. I will always understand. Voodoo's asking if we have Anne Marie tomorrow. Yes. The whole reason we didn't have Anne Marie earlier this Tuesday is she had a circumstance at the house that prohibited her from joining. And by the way, just sharing candidly here, she was upset that she was unable to join us. She really likes this program, and she likes that you folks stick around and have ideas and all of that stuff. So yes, that is the plan, Voodoo. I'll update you tomorrow if anything changes, but right now that's the plan. Let's check in on GME. I did see that spiked earlier. Okay, came back in here, but holding above the VWAP here. AFY. I don't even think I know what that is. Corn Ferry. Ooh, does this have to do with the amateur golf circuit? This actually looking pretty good off that 20-day.
Oh, the humanity.
That's by the way, is I know that gets quoted a lot, but the video in real time That is unbelievable. And I can't even imagine being back in that time and saying, oh my God. Anyway.
Must have been hot.
Yeah.
Airship, $5 is the is a level that I have. So breaking out of there could take us up to 580.
See if Airship gets up there.
BTTR open again. Looks like it's pushing higher or trying to. 675, I think, is the target.
Wow.
It's right after.
Wow. Congrats to anyone that got this one earlier. Hopefully you've paid yourself on the way up. Massive move here, BTTR.
Looks like it might be game over for Zap.
Do you have any continues left?
Yeah, right. It's going to take more of your quarters. Don't put them in there.
Oh, that is some funny stuff.
If we start to lose Zap here, I mean, this thing has had a great run today, but if it starts to lose altitude, I'm going to be looking to see what happens at just under, let's call it 215 to 220. We'll see what happens right about there. That looks like an interesting level of support. We had the pre-market highs in that area. So if that provides support, that's also where the 65 EMA is on the 5-minute. It'd be interesting. So that's the level to watch for, in my opinion, on Zap, 215 to 220. Yeah, it looks like GRDI could. I mean, if the volume expands a little bit more, we could see it get back up over 115, which currently seems to be the big resistance area. If we get above that, then I'd say that we could have a conversation about 135 or higher. H-Row.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at that as you read the ticker. That is serendipitous here. H-Row, this actually just reclaimed the VWAP. Maybe we get a curl on this. Danielle, I think, asked about this earlier. H-Row, one of our stocks to trade here, courtesy of Benzinga Pro this morning.
Yep, this is the one that could squeeze and it needs more volume. So we could have both of those happen. This one has a high short interest. Zim knocking on the door of the intraday high. It's just a couple cents away, and it's through.
TBLT, this is one that I think Andy from Mighty Soldiers has talked about quite a bit. That's up a little bit here today. See if TBLT can get to that 420 consolidation area. BlackBerry might be curling on a daily.
I noticed that BlackBerry, being one of the meme stocks, this is not indicative of the others. This is actually hitting not all-time lows. As a matter of fact, it's at their IPO, down near their IPO.
Wow.
And just so we're clear on split adjustments, this company has never split. So this has been the same shares. It ran up to 150 or close to it. Now we're down on, around $2.
Hope you took profit.
Yeah.
Smoke Tuna mentioning CMND here. We talked about this one at the outset. CMND gave us nothing today, but look, folks, maybe the bottom has been put in. Let us know, Tuna. We do have that MACD histogram curling over or flipping over to the positive side. These lines here starting to curl back up. We're extended from the VWAP by about 35 cents here. Actually, a decent setup here. CMND really need volume to complete this move, though. Amazon at the highs here.
BTTR. I'm just going to call it butter. That is now halted to the downside.
Yikes. All right, folks, we got 30 seconds left here before we send you over to the healthcare and biotech webinar. I'll do it all for you. Don't worry about it. You have any closing thoughts here for the group, Nick and 13?
Well, if you are still in vacation mode, then maybe don't shift out of that. It's going to be a short rest of the week. I don't know that we really have anything that's going to drive the markets in a meaningful way. So if you're going to stick with in vacation mode, I'm probably going to end up joining you. There's not a whole lot for me to really get out of this market right now. So just be careful if you are going to trade this market, and take care of yourself and enjoy the rest of your week.
Well said. Well said here. Jay Rice giving you some really good advice here. Just buy low and sell high, folks. It's easy mode. Nick, any parting words for the group?
I'll be on vacation tomorrow and Monday, so I'll be back on Tuesday. So have a great weekend, enjoy, and hopefully you make some money.
We'll see you Tuesday. 13, Nick, thank you. Have a great one. 13, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.